Welcome to ChoreoCollab Podcast, where we discuss dance, film, collaboration, and more. Brought to you by Central Florida Choreographers Collaboration. I'm your host, Amanda Van Meter Birch. Today I'll be talking with Emily Schwartz about her collaboration with us for Season 3, Project 27, Espressions. Hi, Emily. I'm happy to have you here with us today.
Hi, how are you today? I'm happy to be here.
I'm doing great. So to jump right in, tell us a little bit about your dance background.
So I have been a dancer for most of my life. I started out at a very young age. I went to a performing arts middle school, and then I also went to a performing arts high school, in addition to my dance studio. I grew up dancing in West Palm Beach, very artsy area. And then I started out my college experience as a dance major at USF. And I did eventually switch out to a psychology major, but I continued dancing through Latin Dance Club Performance Team. I was choreographing for USF Dance Marathon, and then taking classes in ballroom dancing, hip hop, and contemporary throughout the years.
Awesome. So very, very well-rounded dancer. I love
I
that.
guess you could say that.
I would say that, like from what I've noticed, like you tend to jump right on projects. Like you were in several other projects, and yeah, I loved watching you in all of those projects. So tell us
Oh,
a little
thank
bit
you.
about your project. How did that come to be?
Yes. So my project, originally, the idea that I had, I wasn't able to get the rights to the music. So I kind of had to go back to the drawing board in terms of, the concept, the music, everything, regarding the piece. And something that I drew inspiration from in that project was I really enjoy going to coffee shops with all of my friends, just to do work, to catch up, to enjoy the coffee. It's something that I've been really getting more into, learning about the different kinds of coffees and trying new drinks and everything like that. Um, so I thought, why not do a piece for it? I love the aesthetic of the interiors of coffee shops, and that just the ambiance in general. So I wanted to do something that took both the art of dance, but also the art of creating a coffee. A lot goes into it that I don't think people realize. From importing the beans from different countries, and steaming the milk from the right temperature, the right time, and all of that that goes into creating these different drinks. So I wanted to find a parallel for that and see how I could create movement based off of that art form.
And it's interesting because I've seen this sort of rise in popularity of latte art. And a lot of these latte art videos and pictures are, sort of booming online. And so you took a very artful representation of that latte art and put a dance spin on it. It has a very interesting vibe.
Yeah, I also love watching latte art. I haven't been able to master it myself. Everything just looks like a blob when I try to do it. But I think it's
Mm.
really cool how we create shapes with our bodies, and how you can even create shapes with liquids like milk. So I think finding that parallel between them and seeing how we can create different shapes is really cool, really unique.
Mm-hmm. So how did you go about choreographing this?
So I usually like to choreograph musically. So that was probably the first thing that I wanted to find. And I wanted something that was smooth, like a coffee shop, something that I would sit in a coffee shop and listen to and enjoy. And actually, when I was looking for music, I pulled inspiration from something that my boyfriend and I started doing, was waking up in the morning, drinking a cup of coffee, and playing chess together while listening to jazz music. So I wanted to find a smooth jazz song, um, that I could choreograph to. So once I found that music, I was able to start creating movement, and I was thinking about the different steps of creating a latte. That was the drink that I wanted to choose, because I think it is a really common one that everyone knows. And thinking about the different steps that go into it, how they pull the beans, what the espresso shot looks like, what it looks like to pour the milk, the shape that it creates in the art, and then how it feels to take your first sip and to just enjoy it while reading a book or, relaxing. So I was able to take those different steps and try to create movement that paralleled that, or represented it, and also just kind of go with the feeling of the music as well. So
Awesome. So what was the relationship like working with your dancers?
Um, it was really, really fun. I had a really fun group of dancers. I think we all come from various backgrounds, so it was really cool getting to know their backgrounds, more about them, and also their movement style. So it was just a really fun experience overall. I know we joked a lot. We had a lot of really good laughs, a lot of good blooper moments. So it was a wonderful experience.
Awesome. And how do you think that they interpreted the choreography that you gave them?
Um, I don't know. I think that they interpret it as fun and smooth. I don't think they interpret it maybe as challenging or anything, but just, getting to feel their bodies and see what feels good to them in relation to how drinking coffee feels to people.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Talk a little bit about the film technical aspect.
yeah, so I got to collaborate with Tiffany, and that was a really fun process. I know we met beforehand and we were talking about, we actually met in a coffee shop before, and we were talking about a few different concepts, a few ideas that we could go off of. But I think it was really cool to learn more about her process and how videographers work, because I'm not exposed to that type of art form when it comes to dance. So it was really cool seeing her work. I loved being able to be on set and watch her do her magic with her camera and all of the big equipment, climbing up on a ladder with the,
Oh
I don't know
my
what it's called,
goodness.
but the the camera holder and everything. So it was a really, really nice learning experience just to see how that different side works.
Yeah, I think that's interesting. I got like a shot on my camera phone of her actually being on this ladder. And you guys don't know, there was a shot in this film that rather that we didn't have anything to suspend the camera over the dancers. It was an aerial shot. Um, so Tiffany has her camera on a monopod on the gimbal and she's holding it on a ladder for dear life, and the strength that arose from this woman, like it was a Wonder Woman moment for sure. I was
It really
impressed.
was. Yes. And I didn't even think, like, when I was planning it, I didn't even think how challenging of a shot that would be to take. But watching the process, I was like, oh my gosh, I am so impressed. Like they do stuff like this. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. And she crushed that. So what were some of the challenges that arose throughout the process?
Um, I think a challenge is trying to figure out, because film is so different than live performance, being able to adjust to the fact that you can pause, you can have pauses in your movement, you can change your spacing, your formatting based off of whatever scene you want to film. So trying to figure that out, and then also trying to figure out where each scene that you're visualizing goes with the music. I like to think of it as like a little math problem. There are several times where I was like, oh, I'm playing the totally wrong part of the music, or, getting sections confused. But I think once you kind of get into it, you learn the little nuances of it. And it's a fun challenge to go
Mhm.
through. So,
Have you ever choreographed for film, or have you just typically done for stage? How different was this for you?
I have only choreographed for stage, or like video auditions, but nothing to the extent of film. So it definitely was a different process, a different way of thinking and approaching your choreographic style, your teaching style, all of it.
So what were some of your favorite elements of collaboration through the process?
Again, I think it's one of my favorite things is learning about different people and their backgrounds, whether it's my dancers, whether it's Tiffany, and seeing how they like to process things, whether it's movement or, problem solving, but just learning those different perspectives and increasing my knowledge as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I think that's one of my favorite things about collaboration is that the different perspectives that it brings, the different lenses that other people see the work through, and you're like, oh, I never really saw that, or I never thought of it this way. But how they attribute to it and make it better.
Yeah, it really is. It's cool to see how what people can bring to the table, how they add their own seasonings and
Mm-hmm.
everything.
I like that,
So,
seasonings.
yeah,
We're talking about
their own
food.
spice. Yeah.
So was the process what you expected from when you started versus when you finished?
Um, I honestly am not sure. I don't think I came into it expecting it to go any certain way. I was trying to come into it with a really open mind of like this could go any way that life takes it. But I think it ended up being a really fun experience looking back. Something I would definitely do again, and a really insightful experience as well.
Mhm. So how did you come to be involved with CFCC?
So last year, Tiffany actually invited me. She was invited to attend the premiere event. So I was her plus one, and we got to see it together. And then this year, when applications came out, we both texted each other, and we were like, "Hey, like, you want to do this together? Let's do it." So
Very cool. And like I said, I talked about earlier, you were involved in other projects. So talk a little bit about those other projects you were involved in.
yeah, so I when I get into something, I guess I like to go all in or as much in as I can. So I was a part of the four other films. I'm
I
trying to
don't know
count.
off of that. I'm
I
losing
think I
count.
was
It
as
was a
a
lot.
dancer. Yeah, but I figured, why not audition, get back into movement. It can also help me get inspired as well to choreograph. So being a part of those films as a dancer was really interesting because I got to learn choreography again, get back into the performance world. But getting back into the performance world of film was interesting to learn about the difference between how you portray yourself on a stage versus how you do it in front of a camera. I got to see how other choreographers work, those that had experience in creating films before and those who didn't. So I think that I was able to gain a lot of insight from them and their creative process as well. So it was a really unique experience.
Hmm. So, do you plan on doing more films in the future?
I would love to. I think it would be fun to tackle it again and see what other concepts you can come up with. I think being able to do a dance film just makes opportunities limitless.
Hmm.
You can really do anything with it. So I would love to continue to explore that space.
I gotcha. So based on everything that you've learned this season, being new to the world of dance for camera, what would you do differently?
Hmm. I think explore more. See, now that I know a little bit more about film and what goes into it, see what out of the box ideas I can push, whether it's choreography, playing with the camera, different angles, different concepts, but just really pushing myself out there even more.
Hmm. And you were also a choreographer collaborator for Project 28 Rooster Run. How did that process go for you?
It was fun. It was hot, not gonna lie.
It was very
It's
hot.
hot out there. But it was really fun. I liked going in without, too many expectations, just the general theme of it, seeing different spaces and coming up with ideas on the spot or even coming up with choreography on the spot. And I think it's really cool to work with dancers that are so adaptable to pick up movement so quickly. Um, and I think it was a really great experience overall. And it was fun to collaborate with you and Carla as well,
Mm-hmm.
seeing what ideas we could create and then what ideas we could bounce off of and build on as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So for those who don't know, Project 28 Rooster Run was a project that we had a handful of dancers selected through the audition process for the live festival, which ended up turning into a film festival. So we took those dancers and nothing was set on the day. We picked a location. We gave them general guidance on what to wear. We told them to bring water and we brought a bunch of snacks and we just took the entire day just to create something from scratch. And each one of us, myself, Emily, and Carla, choreographed a section, and then we played with some different ideas and improv, and that's what we came up with Project 28. So yes, it was outdoors. It was in Ybor City. It was hot, and it was a super fun day. Very fun project. Um,
Agreed.
so what's next for you?
um, what is next? I'll continue working my job, but
What is your
I
job? For those who don't
I
know.
I am a team leader for a management consulting firm in their graphic design department.
Awesome.
So very non-artsy, very corporate, but it's an interesting dynamic shift going between my job and then getting to create with CFCC. But I definitely want to see if I can take the opportunity to be part of CFCC again for the 2023 season. See what I can create, see what projects I can be a part of, how I can support further. That is definitely in my sight for the future. And then just continuing to explore classes in my area and seeing how I can keep up with dance movement and dance trends as well.
Awesome. Very cool. And you just had a move from St. Pete to Orlando. So now you're repping the Orlando area.
Yes, got to see what's out here, what what different studios we can get involved with CFCC and how we can continue to expand.
Yes. So how can people find you?
I am on Instagram. My username is at M Schwartz, so EMSCHWARTZZZ. I believe I have three Z's at the end for my user. I'm also on Facebook as well, but that is where they can find me.
Okay. Well, Emily, it's been amazing working with you this season, and I love Espressions, Project 27. It was an awesome piece, and I can't wait for people to see it. And I look forward to future collaborations.
Oh, thank you so much, Amanda. I appreciate it. And I'm super glad that we got to meet this year and collaborate as well.
Me too. That was Emily Schwartz, Season 3 choreographer with Central Florida Choreographers Collaboration. You can see Emily's project along with dozens of other films in ChoreoCollab Film Fest 2022. ChoreoCollab Film Fest 2022 is screening online until November 20th exclusively at ChoreoCollab.com. We hope you'll join us next time. Keep creating, friends.